the next day in the early ass morning. Sometimes I'm amazed at the human capacity to adapt. Generally speaking, the speed with which someone picks up the knack of something is proportional to their last performance, but it's surprisingly difficult to guess the fastest learners ahead of time. Exceptionally talented individuals can often apply their existing skills to a new task, but it's not uncommon for someone who seems inferior in other respects to abruptly discover an astonishing talent in one specific field. Case in point, ever since I was a kid, I had a firm reputation for being below average at everything I tried. But then I met my master, stumbled across a certain talent, and in time came to see the world through a new lens. You could say that discovering that talent made it possible for me to finally find my nick, such as it is. Okay, we're getting pretty abstract here. So I'm going to explain things a little more simply. There are two types of people in this world, those who are capable of riding a bicycle and those who aren't. Well, I know what we're going into now. And well, apparently Machina belongs in the former category. That's it. Machina zips around the courtyard on the mini velo Sachi lent us. Sorry. Boldly releasing one handlebar to wave in my direction. Not exactly ready for the tour, but she's maintaining a respectable degree of control. The girl only got on a bicycle for the first time yesterday, and in terms of skill, it's fair to say that she's already superior to one not insignificant group of fellow pedal pushers, namely those little old ladies who fall right off whenever an obstacle crosses their path, the so-called granny cyclists. Quite a respectable standard to pass after one day. I'm pretty well convinced at this point. The girl has talent. Perhaps it was my rigorous training in the finest tradition of culture that produced 300 warriors who faced down 1,000,000 Persians? I feel like it's Persians and I've just been really fucking up. That allowed it to blossom. I nod deeply, satisfied to see the wisdom of my educational methods reaffirmed. As Machina pumps away at the pedals, enthralled with bursts of speed she can produce on her own power, her face seems to have frozen in a mankly, joyful grin. I know exactly how she feels. Discovering a new talent is like seeing a clear new path opening up before you on the vague, foggy road into the future. It's a downright stirring feeling. Will I be able to prepare the sort of road this daughter of mine deserves? As my thoughts lurch into sentimental territory, all of a sudden the sight of Machina waving at me from her bicycle seems oddly moving. I've never had a child of my own, so I can only speculate. But maybe these are the sort of feelings that carry the fathers of the world through the daily grind. Before I know it, I've started worrying myself about what can I do for this girl? Seriously. Considering multiple possibilities for her future. It's bizarre. I can't even figure myself out anymore. Her final lap completed, Machina comes to a rest a few feet in front of me, puffing out her meager chest in a display of pure pride that would put a strutting peacock to shame. You're a cocky little punk, but I must admit you've gotten the general idea. I see. I was aware of that, of course. Amane reported afterward that I just showed her the basics, but she got the hang of it pretty easily. During this initial session, Machina apparently fell off her bike once or twice. Perfectly normal for a beginner, of course. What surprised Amane was the way she fell. When Machina felt she was beginning to lose her balance, she instantly determined the safest possible way to hit the ground, sometimes deliberately sliding off the bike to avoid the worst case scenario. Alright then, how about you follow me on the bike when I go running today? More or less. While we're at it, I'll teach you the rules of riding a bike on a public road. It was actually kind of weird. I was at Denny's last night. If you guys don't know what Denny's is, it's like this it's like a breakfast place, but it's all right. It's average, I guess. And, I'm just there with my friends. We're just, waiting for food. And we look outside at the road, and it's a busy road. It's 2 lanes on both sides, so it's kind of busy. And plus, it's I guess you could say, a little shopping area. And, it is nighttime, but it's still pretty busy out. And we see this guy who's riding his bike in the middle of the fucking road. And, yeah, I guess you can technically do that in some cases, but I feel like, yeah, there are rules. And this guy, he was slowing down traffic, man. That ain't right. Like, he was deliberately, purposely getting in front of cars, and it was just really fucked up, and it was really confusing. Like, it was a weird-ass sight. I don't know the rules of the road when it comes to a bike, but that just didn't seem right. I glance at the watch on my left wrist about 6:30. If I run at my normal pace and skip climbing the stairs at the Shinto shrine, it should come out to a light 50-minute course. Once you get the hang of riding a bike, wanting to pedal out into the world is only human. And when you're passing through a familiar town in a whole new way, it's not hard to feel a slight sense of adventure swelling in your chest. The question, just how far can I go, floats naturally through your mind. But even taking all that into consideration, I can't let this turn into a casual joyride. There's just too much I need to teach Machina. First, the most fundamental of the fundamentals: how to focus your attention when operating a vehicle. There are far too many people who only look directly in front of them. At the very least, I want Machina looking far enough down the road to notice hazards 15 meters or more in advance. And while checking her sides should go without saying, I don't want the girl ignoring what's behind her either. Unlike motorcycles or cars, bicycles don't have blinkers or brake lights. Keeping everyone around you informed of your intentions requires deliberate care on your part. By checking both sides ahead of time, you can avoid problems when you change a lane or make a turn. And being aware of what's behind you dramatically reduces the risk of being rear-ended while braking. I'm jogging along explaining these matters to Machina when we pass a pink-collar worker, casually fiddling with her cell phone as she steers her car with one careless hand. Take a look at that, Machina. Bicycle accidents are on the rise these days, and the majority are directly caused by happy-go-lucky types like her. The woman can see just fine. She's just choosing not to look. It's not like she's driving a damn tank. As a general rule, motor vehicles are made to provide their operator with adequate visibility. Not even trying to look around you is negligent, and ignoring what's right before your eyes is downright criminal. Averting your gaze from things you'd rather not see, covering your ears against unpleasant words, exactly the sort of casual arrogance that once led Japan into an unwinnable war. You'd think we'd have learned our lesson by now. In any case, never operate a vehicle while playing with your cell phone, and keep your headphones off too. Always pay attention to your surroundings, and be aware of how others can see you. That alone should be enough to avoid a good percentage of preventable accidents you might suffer otherwise. As a general rule, the most important part of keeping yourself safe is maintaining a healthy fear of things that you can kill. In other words, don't get so used to the peaceful existence you're currently enjoying that you start taking it for granted. Nothing went wrong yesterday, and today's been smooth sailing as well, so tomorrow will no doubt be just the same. Such careless thinking sneaks up on you, and when a real crisis arrives, it can render you utterly helpless. But pressing this rather theoretical point won't do much good. The words will probably go in one ear and out the other until Machina has a wake-up call of her own. Instead, I emphasize the importance of concrete, simple procedures for staying alert and aware of the road around her. Listen, Machina. No matter how much of a hurry you might be in, don't even think about neglecting your safety checks. In fact, the faster you're rushing, the more alert you need to be. Being careless and taking chances isn't going to gain you a significant amount of time. At most, it'll cost you 5 minutes of a trip or so. That's a small price to pay for preventing the worst case scenario. You've got a long life ahead of you. It's not worth risking the decades you've got left for the sake of 10 minutes here or there. You understand? Exactly! You're not going to win the respect of grown-ups by being reckless. If anything, the Department of Defense has better things to do than write letters of condolence to your parents, maggot, is the typical reaction.
金かけて教育したのにあっさり行かれたら、そりゃ国防総省も大損なのよさ。
Seems like you're starting to get the idea. Alright, let me drill this into that thick country bumpkin skull of yours one last time. Here's my rule. Don't die before your parents. Amane and I will teach you the skills you need to keep yourself in one piece. So don't waste our efforts through sheer stupidity. Understood?
Sir! Yes, sir!
I love that rule. That is a fantastic rule. Don't die before your parents. Because those two are the ones that will care about you more than anyone else could in the world. Theoretically speaking. Good. Pretty decent answer for a shit-eating recruit. We'll suspend our training here for the day. God damn. Clicking her heels together, Machina smartly snaps a hand to her head. Originally, this salute was something Machina started as part of some make-believe soldier game, but the gesture was so painfully sloppy that I couldn't stop myself from dressing her down on her poor form. Apparently, she took my remonstrations, whatever, to heart. The angle of her right arm is sharp, and she's tightly clenching her free hand at her side. Not entirely orthodox, but she's got the spirit. Well then, the girl is probably hungry, probably about time for breakfast, but just as I'm glancing at my watch, a fluting call fills the air. Isn't that the cuckoo? Ah, that's a cuckoo. He was singing yesterday morning too. Yeah, I really don't understand like the rarity or anything of this bird. Impressed you know that. Yeah, cuckoos lay their eggs in the nests of other birds, like the shrike or reed, I don't even know. Since this one's been around 2 days in a row, there's probably a nest around here. Squinting, I carefully look over the area the bird's song's coming from. The search proves slightly easier this time around. There it is. Look at the 18th tree. 18th? Counting from the storehouse to the left, it's up in the branches. Can you see it? Don't get too close or it'll fly off. There, see? And the branches of that tree on the left. Why can't you see it? The bird's huge. Closer to gray than black, I'd say. Orange eyes and feet, though. Could she be nearsighted? Is that what it is? Nearsighted is when you can only see stuff up close, right? And then farsighted is if you can only see stuff far away. Not particularly far away, but you just can't see stuff up close. It's the vice versa. Well, I've got pretty good long-distance vision, thanks to my job. Alright, wait here. I'll bring you something nice. I'll be back soon. Don't run around and scare the cuckoo off, alright? I jog back to the dorm, then drag out the rucksack containing all my earthly possessions from the back of my closet. I know it's a little pathetic to admit this myself, but there's a hell of a lot of useless junk in this thing. The container I finally retrieved from the very bottom of the bag just looks like a tackle box at a glance. Sorry, as I'm really losing my breath a lot. But instead of lures, it's packed full of old tools I no longer actively use in the field. An assortment of Allen wrenches in all sizes, a short-handled stubby driver, an old Palm PC with a monochrome screen, I'm such an idiot. Monochrome screen, a GPS that's grown unusably inaccurate, sifting, or is it shifting? Whatever. Through it all, I finally spot a small black case. There it is. I retrieve the case, open the two sliding claps, holding it closed, flip open the lid. In the middle of a cushioning bed of foam, there's a long tube glazed to a dull, non-reflective black. Specifically, it's a Leupold MK M3. A site my master bought me for... God damn it. A site my master bought for me as a toy one Christmas. I'm equipped with nicer optics these days, so I haven't used this thing in years. But I never got around to throwing it out. I removed the lens cap and tried peering inside. The wire reticle doesn't seem to have been jolted off center. Sliding it back into the case, I take the whole package under my arm and head back to the courtyard where Makin is waiting. Alright, that's where I'm going to end it. It's a little under 40 minutes for the 2 episodes in this session, but I am out of breath and I am tired. It's been a long 2 days and I'm just exhausted, and like I said, I think I'm coming down with something, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this session, and I'm sorry for the shit commentary, but hopefully next time I do a little bit better and hopefully produce better content. But if you like these videos, please leave a like, and if you're new here, why not subscribe? And if you're old here, why aren't you subscribed? I mean, I know my content's not that good, but please support your fellow man. Anyways, whatever. That'll be it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this session. And, yeah, I guess next time we'll continue Seed of the World Tree 5. I really don't know how many more of these there are. But then again, we're still at the beginning, I would say, of this route. We haven't gotten to anything too serious yet. But I feel like this story will really take off, and I'll be really into it once we get into some serious shit. So, I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited. We'll have a fantastic time very soon. So I'll see you guys next time for the rest of Seed of the World Tree 5.